This is Python's Paradise. This is your host, Greg Gilbert, aka the Python Hyena, straight out of Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada, here on May the 17th, 2024, but rocking a beautiful Toronto background because you know what? I consider that my real home, and it's where I desire to be at some point in my future if I would stop getting delayed. But such as such. But today I got my first interview post cataract operation because that's been my big thing this year. And well, I just did my first convention in the US. Chiller. Went down there and assisted Lisa Langlois a little bit and met some wonderful people, including my lovely, beautiful guest today. Yes, she's a Russian Canadian. Two words I don't see together an awful lot. And she's cleaned herself up since having a zombie baby. Folks, I give you the absolutely beautiful Anna Korobkina. Did I say that right?
You did. You did. Thank you. Thank you for such a warm welcome and inviting me to be a part of your podcast. I'm happy to be here.
I'm envious of you. You live in Toronto. I go to bed, well, I go to bed every day because I work overnight, but I go to bed every day dreaming that I'm gonna wake up in Toronto.
One day,
I
I hope you manifest that. Yeah, it's a
well,
great city. I love it.
Well, first, I don't want to get political, but I know that somebody's going to be out of power by then, and I won't give away any names. But somebody's going to be out of power by then. But nonetheless, I love Toronto, and I envy the fact that you live there, and I love the big city, and and I had so much fun every year I've gone. I always see Lisa Langlois every year I go down there, and I've made other connections as well. So I've interviewed a lot of people that are Toronto based, and they make me jealous. I'm not Toronto based yet, but I'm not giving up.
One
I
day
work,
soon.
yeah, I work as a cleaner here, and that's what I do for money. I do this because I enjoy it and talking about various movies. And of course, got this handy on me, Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
congratulations. 800 episodes, interviews, and counting, and an award-winning podcast. That's incredible. I
it
mean,
is a
I know how
word.
much
We see
dedication
this.
and work it takes because I have my own podcast that I co-host with my producing partner, Ingrid J. Monday, the Rise Up and Fix It podcast. So, oh, there it is. That's the award. Good for
Yeah,
you.
I got
That's
that
amazing.
the station I'm affiliated with, CHSR, 2016's Critics' Choice Best Spoken Word, Python's Paradise. Yeah, I
How many
thought
interviews in did you get that?
I don't know. That was my second year in doing this, and I think I pitched them the tribute I did on Alfred Hitchcock, where I had his granddaughter on.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I got that, and I think I'm approaching about 850. Actually, if I can, you're my 36th this year, but your number 838 in total.
I love the number eights.
Yeah. So
38.
that's how far up. And of course, I was at the chiller and I might as well show off this beautiful picture that you signed for me. I got to
Aw.
show that off, that beautiful picture that you signed for me. I'm going to hold that right up here so that other people can take a look.
Aw.
Look at that, you and your jeans. Look at that.
Thank you. It was really nice to meet you. Thanks for coming by.
Yeah. Well, we made a connection before Chiller, and
Mhm.
so I was really glad that we were able to make that work out. And yeah, it's been that was my first time in the US and maybe my last because going through immigration and stuff took me like over an hour.
Really? What was up with that?
I don't know. Like, I mean, there was I once I got up there, I got through, but everybody on these planes was all lined up, and I was like, oh my goodness,
It's
I like
probably
it.
because you were traveling for the first time. They're like, who's this guy? Because usually they have everything laid out and like they know who's coming through. They didn't know you. They're like, who's this guy? They
Well,
had
I
to
like
figure you
it
out.
whenever I can get off the plane in Toronto and I could just go to the subway and just woo,
Yeah, yeah,
off
yeah.
I'm going,
Totally.
Yeah, and Lisa's got me well trained in Toronto because now I know right where I'm going. First couple trips she had to meet up with me and show me my way, but now I kind of know right where I'm going. So
Nice.
love Toronto. Have you lived there your whole life?
No, I moved here when I was 10. And then we lived in Calgary for 3 years, moved back here, went to high school in Toronto. And then in my 20s, I moved to LA and I was there for about 13 years.
Oh,
And then
that's right. You
just
did
wanted
mention
to
that.
come back. I enjoyed growing up in Toronto. I love Canada, so I moved back here with my kids 5 years ago
Absolutely.
now. July 1st is going to be 5 years. So
July 1st. Well,
July.
July 8th, I'm going to turn 52.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'll be an old guy with whose body's all falling apart because now I had root canal in January and then a retina operation, a cataract. I'm
Oh my
falling
goodness.
apart.
Oh my goodness. Well, you look great. I would never have been able to tell
Well,
that you're
I'm good
falling
at
apart,
faking
I
it.
mean.
Yeah, I'm falling apart. Yep. Yeah. But nonetheless, I would like to get a little bit of your background because I've never run into a Canadian Russian before, a Russian Canadian before. I think that's really cool.
Okay, yeah. I mean, my parents decided to move to Canada. We had an opportunity to. We had a family member living here.
Hmm.
And yeah, so that's how I became Russian Canadian, just my parents deciding to move here. Yeah.
What
So,
got you into acting? Is it something you always wanted to do?
well, I love storytelling. I have always loved storytelling, and I also love the camera. I'm a bit of a ham. I love beautiful visual imagery. I love holding the camera. I love taking pictures. I love being in front of the camera. And I love storytelling through pictures.
Hmm.
So um, I got into modeling first as a way to be in front of the camera, in front of what I love. And then I told stories that way. And then I transitioned into acting from there because I wanted to challenge myself a little bit further. But with acting, it was a little bit of an escape for me because the immigration experience was traumatic for me, and we moved around a lot. We never really settled, and I never had an opportunity to build strong friendships. So my childhood included a lot of loneliness and being awkward and tall and just yeah, with a thick accent. I never really fit in. So I think for me, acting was like an escape to be somebody other than myself. And it ended up actually being a healing journey acting because I got to play other characters and I got to learn about psychology and the choices that characters make and how do I make choices as a human being in my own life. Like it was like a mirror onto my life. So yeah, it's I started working with coaches who really guided me and helped me heal, acting coaches, very loving, kind, and supportive acting coaches, and meditation teachers. Meditation is a huge part of my life. I talk about it a lot on my podcast, Rise Up and Fix It. Um, just seeing those thoughts that can run your life. And in acting, it's the same thing. Like when you study a script, when you study a character that you're about to present, you have to unpack what is this character feeling? What is this character thinking? And it's usually the thoughts that lead to feelings. So yeah, it was a part of my life, and um, now I still do acting, but it's more from me choosing how I want to, what projects I want to be a part of, and developing my own projects and producing and creative directing. So I'm more on the producing side now, making my own content. And I still love being in front of the camera, and that's why I do the podcast with my co-host Ingrid J. Monday. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
You know, I want you to plug your podcast on here because I know I said to you um at Chiller, I said, well, if you're on my podcast, I should come on yours. You said it was some female based, and I said, well, I could dress a drag, look at work for Dustin Hoffman and
Well,
Tootsie.
no, well, I take that back actually. We did have so season two is about to come out. We start airing June 14th, and it's going to be
Hmm.
a bi-weekly podcast.
Hmm.
An episode will air every 2 weeks. And actually the first episode we have a male on our podcast. And he's the creator of the game Purpose. It's a card game that connects humanity. And our podcast is not like we're here to empower women.
Hmm.
And it's not what people, I think women's empowerment is not what people think it is. For me, and this is what we talk about in the podcast, women's empowerment is connecting to your innermost being, to your authenticity. And the world demands so much of us. There is programming built in, there is society's expectations. And so it's coming back to yourself. So, and we feature stories on our podcast of women that have come overcome adversity. So part of the journey of becoming a strong woman, because I've not always been a strong woman. I was an insecure little girl. There's a journey to becoming a powerful woman, and that journey involves adversity and bouncing back and being beaten down and rising and beating back. So we feature stories of women that struggled and have overcome that struggle, and now they're helping others. So if you're on the same mission, or if you have a story to tell that can help another woman rise up and start fixing her own life and fixing and helping other women fix their life, then we can build a better world.
I
So
should connect you with my friend Lisa Langwell, the one I assisted at Chiller,
yeah,
because I think she'd be a good fit for you on your podcast.
yeah, I'd love to speak to her. Yeah,
Oh
sounds
yeah,
great.
yep, she's one of my all-time favorite females, you know. Um, I got business cards because of her now, and I got a passport because of her. Um, she had me take these uh risks I never thought I'd ever take because I was never planning to travel. And I went to Toronto and just fell in love with it. Now I moved there, you know. So she's got a great story. So there you
Yeah, I'd
go.
love to connect to her. It sounds like she's a very nurturing, kind, supportive woman. I
Yeah,
love women like that. I love that.
she's awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. You know, it's fun seeing you at Chiller. Now, have you done very many conventions?
I have not. No, this was my second one. The first one was over 10 years ago. And I did this one because a dear friend of mine, Bob, is a manager, and he's like, "Hey, can I represent you? Can I get you into this signing?" I'm like, "Sure." And it was such a fun experience because it was a group of us, and there was a lot of wise older actors. And so we just geeked out talking acting and life, and just had such a good time, such a good time. Last time it was so funny because it was a completely different experience for me. It was chiller, I'd say 11 years ago, and my
Hmm.
daughter was just born. She was 6 months old, and I brought her with me. And my parents came down to help watch her while I did the autograph signing. And so at night, like I was in full mommy mode, and then just like sneaking away to do the autograph signings. And so I didn't enjoy, like in the evening, I'd be so spent, and like I'd be returning back to the hotel room and just like hanging out with her and putting her to bed. Like I didn't, it wasn't the same experience. So I'm glad that I got to experience both sides of life like that. Being a mom and signing, and then flying off on my own to meet a whole bunch of new friends and hear stories and meet fans and sign autographs.
Thank goodness it wasn't the zombie kid.
Right? It's so funny. Somebody came by and said, "You should have brought your daughter." Like, yeah, yeah.
but nonetheless, I was going to ask. I don't know if you'll have an answer for this because but I always ask this. What's the most unique thing you've ever been asked to sign?
Oh, uh, I I can't. So I didn't get any strange objects to sign, but I have a really interesting story.
Okay.
There's a gentleman that came by with two items for me to sign. I had a tiny, tiny non-speaking role in 24. I played, I think, a Russian spy, and 24 was a huge show, and yeah. So he came by for me to sign the 24 CD DVD cover, and it was just my signature. And then so I was perplexed about that because I'm like I can't say I it was an impactful role, a big role. And then the other thing he had me sign was Ladies Man, which was a comedy.
I know.
And
I saw that in
I,
the theater.
what's that?
I
You
saw
saw it
that
in
in the
the
theater.
theater? So the funny story about that is actually I'm not in the movie. I got a credit for the movie. I was at the time modeling, and I had an audition with the director. I played Hef's girl, and I'm pretty sure everybody knows who Hugh Hefner was. So I was hired to play the role of the girl that gets the lead character kicked out of Hef's mansion, like the hottest kind of super model that he's not supposed to sleep with. And this shot in Toronto, and my modeling agency sent me on the audition. I left them my com card, and they hired me off of the com card. But I think the director was there too. I don't remember now. It was so long ago. So it was a night shoot in the middle of Toronto, like this really old building. A lot of background extras. It was like because it was a party scene and then the bedroom scene. And so I go into wardrobe. They 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 didn't dress me or with wardrobe styling me before. They dressed me on the day because usually the way it works, you book a job and then you meet with wardrobe stylists beforehand and they figure out what you're going to wear and how you're going to look. This was just so last minute. So it's like middle of the night, midnight. They're doing my hair like purples and blues, and they curl my hair and they put this um like this dress that's crochet on me. And like I'm a very athletic build. I'm not Hef's girl. I'm not like big boobs. Like that's so I'm yeah, I love sports. I'm like a tomboy. So they show me to the director. They present me to the director in this like dress that just hangs on me like there's nothing. Curls, purple makeup. I looked as the furthest thing from a Playboy bunny that you could possibly imagine. The director looked at me and just like turned, like he just left. He was so shocked and so like thrown aback. Anyway, there was no communication. There was not, I mean, what could he say to me? You don't look the part. It wasn't, I guess he had so many other pressing matters to tend to making this film. He wasn't going to say, hey, listen, the makeup is off and the clothing is off. Let's redo this. He went and found a girl among the extras and had her play the Playboy bunny Hef's girl. But because the paperwork was already all signed and I was demoted to a background, it was the most humiliating, the most awful experience of my life. I remember riding back on the subway at like 8 o'clock in the morning after this really long shoot and being so demoralized. And that's the industry for you. Like you're judged on your assets. Like this is
That's okay.
the
The movie sucked anyway.
it's the movie side. And so I have the credit. I still receive residuals for like $1 every 2 years. I have the credit. I'm Hef's girl, but by no means am I Hef's girl. And did I ever play Hef's girl? So that's my story.
My biggest memory of that movie is I thought Will Ferrell was really funny in it, but
He's amazing. I love Will Ferrell. My absolute favorite movie in the whole wide world is Elf. Like I watch that every year at Christmas. Like genius, absolute genius.
I liked him in The Other Guys and Anchorman.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but the Elf is also terrific. Yeah. Now, Dawn of the Dead. Now, growing up, I was not a big zombie fan, but I've come to appreciate it, you know. I like Shaun of the Dead, I like Zombieland. I
Mhm.
met George Romero's wife Suzanne at the first Horrorama I was at, and I
Oh.
had her come on and tribute to him. And of course, he did Night of the Living Dead, the original Dawn of the Dead. I really enjoyed the original Dawn of the Dead, and it's taken place in a shopping mall. I was never big on zombies running because I always thought that something dead would move slow, you know? But I
Right.
gotta say, Zack Snyder did a great job with this, and I thought Sarah Polley was a tremendous lead in
Mhm.
it.
Yeah.
And of course, you play a pregnant woman in this. Now, talk about being cast in this movie and your experiences with Zack Snyder.
I had a couple of auditions. A big casting director, Robin Cook, brought me in. I was really young and inexperienced, so I do have to say a lot of the performance was intuition based. If I were to replay the role now that I've been a mom twice, I would have definitely moved in a different manner while pregnant. So, yeah, I think I was in my early 20s at the time. And um, yeah, the I actually didn't meet Zach in the auditioning process. I met Robin Cook, who auditioned me the first time and the second time. And the third time there was a big casting director out of LA that came to interview me, and he wanted to make sure that I could be scared and could cry. So I think it was Joseph Middleton is his name, big casting director. So yeah, so I booked the part. I was very naive. I didn't think much of it. Like I actually was in a relationship with a fellow actor, and he was very excited for me because he knew the caliber of other talent that were a part of that film. But I was so like, first of all, nervous. It's a big opportunity and a lot of a big responsibility. Like it's a big American production. I haven't done much stuff before then. Um, so yeah, the timing was right, the role was right. I happened to be Russian and they needed a Russian character. And yeah, I'd like to think that my audition contributed to the part that I got the role. And I'm glad that people have liked my performance. I enjoyed playing Luda. I really did. I loved the arc that I got to play, just like this really innocent, scared, vulnerable woman, and then transitioning into this vicious zombie. Um, yeah, I truly, and I enjoyed watching Zach work too. Um, yeah, he's a genius, an absolute genius. And just hanging out on set, it was a ensemble cast. There were so many wonderful people, wonderfully talented actors, all with their own personalities, but all very friendly. I can't say that anyone was like standoffish or kind of kept to themselves. Like we just sit between shots in a group and chat. Like Ty Burrell was like, he was the life of the party. He was starting conversations. Ving Rhames always had something wise to say. Like they were all incredible. And Sarah Polley was like a little mother hen. She just took care of
Oh,
everyone.
yeah.
She brought in a Pilates teacher, and we had the mall that we shot at was actually an abandoned mall. They were about to, after we finished filming, they demolished it and built condominiums. So we had the room of the place. Like all the storefronts were empty. So the set department was there to put in whatever they wanted to. And we were biking through. Some people brought bicycles and biking through the mall. One of the storefronts, Sarah Polly would bring a Pilates teacher and would do Pilates. Like it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed working on that set.
I can't remember the actor's name, the security guard with the mustache. Um, his name's escaping
Uh,
me. I really liked him in the film, especially when at first you don't like him and then you come to really dig the guy.
yeah, he was
Oh,
very sweet too. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, skipping on his name here, but he was terrific in the film. And of course, Ving Rhames, 10 years after Pulp Fiction, you know.
Hmm.
Um, but I gotta say, you know, you of course you had a scene where Mickey Pfeiffer, he was I thought first that you when I first saw this, I thought, oh no, you weren't bit, but I guess slowly I guess you find out you are, and he had to chain you down to the bed, and we all know that the birth is not gonna be pleasant. And I guess one thing I want to know, because you were strapped down, did it hurt when he put that thing in your mouth?
It actually did. I think I scared him. I think I
What
genuinely
was
scared him
that?
because I'm a bit of an empath and I can
Uh-huh.
feel people's feelings. And he was freaked out, poor guy, because the atmosphere is
Well,
dark
you
and
tried to bite him.
he actually did hurt me. Yeah, like bruised me on the lip. I mean, and also I'm moving. Like it's not like I'm actually attacking him and he has to put it on like this gag on me. So yeah, it's okay though. I
What was that he used?
think it was a claw. I
I
don't
don't know whether
remember.
a
That's an
cloth or a
interesting
belt or
question. I've never been
something.
asked that before. Yeah, it was a piece of cloth. I don't, but how did he tie it? I don't remember
Well, I
how he,
don't know, but he had to time that because you were like a snapping turtle.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yep. So I felt so bad though. You of course you're a zombie, so you got to get demised, and I was like, you know, like you're this pregnant woman, and they got to dispatch you, they got to dispatch the kid, and it's like, you know, sad. I was kind of hoping you would live. Oh
I
well.
mean, but it's so brilliantly written.
Mm-hmm.
James Gunn, oh my God. Because it
Mm-hmm.
could have gone so many different ways. You know, is she bitten? Is she not? Is the baby going to be a zombie or is it not?
Well, it looked like it was a zombie whenever it came out. It didn't look
Right?
normal.
Yeah, but it could have been written in the direction of where it wasn't. And then where does the storyline go? Is then Mackay a single father? Like it's interesting because we've never that has never been explored before. So does the zombie virus get transferred through the placenta? I mean, it and through the umbilical cord, it's very interesting.
Okay, okay. Did you see the original Dawn of the Dead prior to this?
I did, yeah. It was part of my research. I mean, I didn't watch it before booking the part. I watched it as part of my research. And yeah, I love the commentary, and that's actually been a big part of my life, like symbolically, this idea of mindless consumerism. Um, and ironically enough, like my healing journey through acting and then the meditation has taken me on a spiritual path and you know tapping into the authenticity, and that authenticity comes from being in the moment and witnessing the wounds that might be coloring your reality and so like operating mindlessly, just the symbolism behind the movie was yeah, very interesting. I enjoyed that commentary.
And of course, Tom Savini was in the original Dawn of the Dead. And you do see him make a cameo here on the news, you know. Did you get
Yeah,
to meet him?
briefly.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yeah.
Yeah. I interviewed one of the biker girls from the original Dawn of the Dead. Yeah, Trudy Gray. So she's got like a red bandana on and
Oh, okay.
yep,
Yeah, cool.
yep. So I got to get more people from it on, you know, but I just haven't uh this year I've been busy with my eye surgery and stuff like that, but I've been reaching out to people here and there, but Dawn of the Dead, I've got to get more people from it. But
It's a
did you
big
go?
cast. There's
Yeah.
lots to interview.
Well,
Have you the little girl, I'm curious what she's been up to. I mean, she was wonderful in the beginning of the movie. Hannah. Yeah.
I would like to, well, yeah, I would like to reach out to her if I could. I love that. Where, again, I'm not a big fan of running zombies, but I got to admit, when she's on the floor in the hallway and she springs up and lands on her feet, I'm like, I dig that.
Yeah. Yeah. The shots were very innovative.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
somebody told me, who was it? I don't, one of my friends said they heard Quentin Tarantino talking, and he said when he saw the opening to Dawn of the Dead and what Zach had, how the way Zach directed it, that was the first time he was truly jealous about like another director and the choices that director has made. Because it's still all in the choices, right?
Uh-huh.
It's their vision coming to life, and they've got a team of people around them that they're orchestrating. Basically, it's like an orchestra that they're conducting and saying, okay, we're going to do this, 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 and pulling it all together. Like it's such an art form, such a gift to be able to do that.
Oh, absolutely. Did you go to the premiere of the film?
I did. Yeah. It was my first time in LA. Yeah, it was at the big mall at Third and Santa Monica. Oh gosh, I forget now. In West Hollywood, a big mall in West Hollywood, and yeah, fond memories. It was a lot of fun.
Did they
Yeah.
wheel you in strapped to a bed?
Yeah,
This
that would
is
have been interesting.
with Mackay saying, "Don't feed her, don't feed her." Oh man, no. And like I said, it's one of those remakes. I think really a lot of people are not big on remakes. There are some that, like I love the 1978 Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I love that. I thought The Birdcage was a decent remake to the French film. I loved Eddie Murphy's Nutty Professor better than the Jerry Lewis version.
Yep.
I love the American version of Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. So there are some decent remakes out there that don't diminish from the first. And I got to say, this one here, you could tell there was some care went into it. And what really sells it for me is that you like the characters in it. You know, you're with Sarah Polly when she's a nurse at the beginning, and you care about the people that she runs into. You get this sense of security when you're around Ving Rhames because he seems confident in what he's doing. Um, I enjoyed the characters, and if you like the character, I'll give you a contrast to that. I saw Taro at the theater last week, and I couldn't be any more bored and unsympathetic with the characters than that. The total opposite. Horror films should not be all about body count and gore. You got to like the characters and not want to
Mm,
see them perish. That's part of what makes it work. So I gotta say kudos to Zack Snyder. This was really, really decent. So and I
yeah.
really didn't want to see you get offed in it. So
Say again. Sorry, I missed that last part.
I didn't want to see you get offed.
Oh,
Yeah, good. Oh well. I mean, he could have fed you carrots or something.
yeah.
Could have like fishing rod something.
Maybe we'll do a sequel with alternative ending.
Imagine me directing it. Just see. I want to mention some of your other credits here because I saw How to Deal at the theater and your flight attendant uncredited. I only saw it the one time. I remember definitely Mandy Moore. What were your memories of that?
Well, actually, I was hired to be a stand-in for Mandy Moore. So I spent 2.5 months on that set and I learned a lot. And then the director took a liking to me and she gave me a part of the flight attendant. So yeah, I have very fond memories of that. Like while they were filming, I either be watching, seeing how the director is directing or how the cameras are set up. Um, and or reading books. I devoured so many books because set life there's very long hours. You start very, very early and you go late into the night. And yeah, so 2.5 months of that, and it's just like reading books and watching how the movie magic happens. And yeah, so it was a tiny little role, and the director just gave it to me.
Did Mandy teach you how to sing?
She did not.
Now you mentioned you devoured so many books. Is that a Dawn of the Dead thing, or did you literally? Oh, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Clever,
I'm going
clever.
vegan now. I'm going to devour books now.
Yeah. Ooh,
Oh,
there's a movie idea there. There's
there
a
you
story
go.
idea there.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now, I have not seen Driven to Kill, but I must ask what it was like for you to work with Steven Seagal.
It was interesting. He's a character. He's
Yeah,
definitely a
heard.
character. He's actually a kind human being. Like I auditioned for him. He decided he did the castings. He auditioned. He didn't let the producers or the directors cast. And at the time, I was with an agency they represented only Russian actors, and so a whole bunch of us came over to his house to audition. And it was in Beverly Hills, like this huge mansion. And so yeah, I booked the part. He gave me his phone number. And
Hmm.
then something happened where the producers didn't want me on the project because it was filming in Vancouver. And at the time I was living in LA. I mean, yeah, in LA. And so I texted him. I'm like, what's going on? I thought you wanted me for this part. And he's like, what? And so he fixed it. He's like, no, you're coming. You're going to be part of this movie. He really stuck up for me. He really wanted me to be a part of the project, even though I was so not right for it. I played his wife. At the time, I was in my late 20s. There was a girl that played my daughter, who in real life was, I think, a year older than me. And it was, and just the makeup, going into makeup and them trying everything they could to age me. And in fact, maybe I'll pull some old photos. Like I have, like, they pulled my skin and put this like weird stuff that would make it wrinkle. They tried, and then it started peeling, and they tried, and it was a good exercise for me to like channel someone that's older and more grounded because I can be very flighty. And so like I'm like, how would an older person behave? They've lived more, they're more experienced, they're more grounded. So I really tried to like emulate that in the mother role, especially when I have the scene with the daughter. Um, yeah, he's definitely a character. He'd show up on set really, really late. We'd all be waiting for him, and um yeah, but he's a kind human being. The fact that he stuck up for me and he's like, "You're a part of this project. I want you to be a part of it," meant a lot. So, yeah.
Did you hear from her on Mother's Day?
Yeah. No, we didn't stay in touch. It was, sometimes you do projects, you meet new people. Some you really bond with and you connect and you stay friends forever. And some, you work and you move on. So I can't say that we had that math, and it's one scene. We had one scene together. So, but maybe our paths will cross again. She's a lovely human being. I did enjoy her company.
Well, I heard there wasn't much of an age difference between Rachel McAdams and Amy Poehler, and who are mother and daughter in Mean Girls either.
Right? Yeah.
Yep. So
Yeah, it happens. It
it
happens.
happens. Another one I have not seen. I actually never heard of this film, but it looks like something different. Let the Game Begin. Fellow Canadian Natasha Henstridge in that, I see. I
Yeah.
met Lachlan Monroe at Frightmare in the Falls.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a part that I got through a friend.
Hmm.
They're like, "You want to be a bridesmaid?" I'm like, "Sure." So I was living in LA, and the friend connected me to the filmmakers. Yeah.
I see you had a lot of diverse roles and stuff, and you've done some TV. I actually don't watch TV here. I have my television set up to watch my Blu-rays.
Yeah.
But is there anything in your television credits that stand out that you want to talk about that made an impact on you?
I mean, I really enjoyed being part of The Border. I had 2 episodes on that. I played a Russian stripper, but with a heart of gold. I really I wanted to make her like very Audrey Hepburn and very playful.
I had Audrey
Um,
Hepburn's eldest son on the show here
oh, did
back
you?
in
I love her.
2017.
She's my
Yeah.
idol. She's so classy, was
She
classy
is.
and just so beautiful. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Um, so I enjoy playing that character a lot. Um,
Did it make you nervous to play a stripper, or did you not have to go full nude on that or anything?
I didn't have to go full nude on that. I had fun with it. Like, I don't
Hmm.
think I have body issues.
Okay.
I'm fine expressing myself. So,
I
yeah.
didn't think I did, but anytime I get undressed, my cat runs out of the room, so I'm getting the hint. I'm not built to be a model. My cat is my biggest critic.
That's so cute.
Oh, but nonetheless, no, I haven't seen that because I don't watch television, but um but you mentioned that. Is there any other television that you were part of that you that stands out to you?
Um, no, just like The Border and what was the other credit I just mentioned? Um, well, I did play on well, the original name was Lawyers, Guns, and Money, and then they changed it to oh gosh, the name escapes me. Wow.
You have
Um,
1-800 missing. You got that listed
yeah, I
here.
had a little role on that. I can't say. I did enjoy playing a cranky model on riding the bus with my sister, directed by Angelica Houston. That, talk about idols. That's another idol of mine. She's
Did
so
you did you
classy.
did you enjoy riding the bus with your sister?
I didn't get to ride the bus. I got to play this really annoyed, cranky, bitchy model that Andy McDowell, who's the lead of the one of the leads of the movie, along with Rosie O'Donnell. So at the top of the movie, they show Andy McDowell how she's really struggling in her career, like everything's just not going right. And so it was a fun scene, a couple of scenes to shoot because I got to work with puppies and kids and Andy McDowell and watching Angelica Houston direct. She was just, there's so much power exuding from her. She's such a woman. And yeah, that's another project I really enjoyed. We had this scene with Andy McDowell where she was really close to my face, one of the shots. And between shots, while they're resetting the camera, she looks at my face because I guess they're lighting it, so she had to be there. She looked at my eyebrows and she goes, "Never ever let anyone pluck your eyebrows." Because I think she at one point had really thick, bushy eyebrows, and I think 90s came along and it was really popular to do like really thin eyebrows. So they overplucked hers and they really changed from what I understand, changed the shape of her eyebrows. I had the exact same experience where when I was modeling, they overplucked my eyebrows, and maybe I'll share the picture at one point, super thin, but thankfully they grew back. But yeah, like the modeling industry will, whatever is in style, they'll do that to you, and then you have the repercussions. So yeah, that's another credit that comes to mind that I enjoyed being on.
So what do you have coming up that you're allowed to talk about?
So while I'm producing my own content now,
Hmm.
I'm a creative director. I own my own image consulting agency. So I've taken my experience in acting and working with wardrobe stylists and this idea of character development, because a big part of developing your character is working alongside a wardrobe stylist that will dress you for the part to enhance the character. So you walk in the room, you appear on the screen, and you already speak the part. And so I'm utilizing that experience in acting to help creative entrepreneurs, single moms who are looking to revamp their life and just feel a little bit of glamour and clarity and joy around dressing. So I do that with producing and being on camera because I do love the camera. Still, being behind the camera, in front of the camera. For my image consulting, one of the things that I offer for my clients is after they've done the makeover, after we've revamped the image, we do a photo shoot with them. We'll create images for them that speak to their authentic self. And you can see it in the photos, like when you're wearing the piece that really resonates with you, what makes you feel like a goddess and makes you feel beautiful, your eyes shine. You see it in the face, like it resonates in the photo. So I do that with my image consulting company. And then when it comes to being in front of the camera, my producing partner and I have a podcast called Rise Up and Fix It. And our setup is a little different. We go in seasons, we do 10 episodes at a time. And that's mainly because we have so many other things going on. And my producing partner just had an infant. Like it's like when we launched season 1, she had an infant. So there's just a lot. There's mom life, there's work life. So we do 10 episodes per season. We're about to launch season 2, which we're super, super excited about. Season 2, we interviewed 10 different people from different walks of life who, again, going back to what I was saying at the beginning of our interview, they've struggled with something, they've overcome something, overcome difficulties and adversities, and grew from that. And now they're sharing their story on our podcast to inspire other women that might be really struggling and having a hard time. We're there to say, you know what? Just you got this. You got this. You can persevere and you can grow. And the version of you that becomes as you fight this adversity is a beautiful version of you. So don't shy away from adversity. So the first episode airs June 14th, and then it's going to be bi-weekly every 2 weeks. So yeah, and then we produce content and we're constantly pitching. It's just a matter of having a production company or like a network come along and say, yes, this is the project that we want you to helm, which I feel like we're close. Yeah. So that's what I
Awesome.
do.
Do you have any charities that you want to plug and promote on here that you're involved with?
Charities. So, well, sports is very big for me. I love sports. It was my saving grace when I was a kid. So when I was saying earlier, like I felt very lonely and isolated, we moved around a lot and I felt awkward and like just, yeah. When I played sports, it connected, like it just made me feel joyful. So my daughter loves sports as well. I've encouraged that in her. She plays volleyball and basketball. There's an organization that we're a part of called the Toronto Triple Threats. It's a basketball, nonprofit basketball coaching organization. And I signed up to assist coach this year, and I learned a lot. And so they're always looking for donations because when people donate to the organization, then they can send underprivileged kids that are struggling, whose parents can't afford to pay for extracurricular activities. They're able to send them to the basketball program where they bond with other kids and they get strong and resilient, because there's so many benefits to basketball. Like just even watching the girls progress this year as I assistant coached, they were so kind of shy and almost scared of the ball. And then the other teams would come and be very aggressive and rip it out of their hands. And you saw them slowly, like with every game that they showed up, they're like, no, you're not taking the ball from me. So they would fight back and they got stronger and faster and they grew as a team. They bonded and they joked. And so I'm a huge advocate for team sports. So that's one organization that I absolutely love, the Toronto Triple Threats. Yeah, and we interviewed a woman on our podcast. I think it's episode 4, Natalie from Legally Vain at legally_vain, VAIN. And she is a victim of domestic abuse, and she was able to walk away from that. And it was a very difficult journey for her. It was very hard. She has children, and um, she knows how difficult it is. And now she's helping other women escape the abuse cycle. What she does is she puts these care packages together. So when a woman leaves and escapes to a shelter, she has a package waiting there for them. Just really simple things that preserve their dignity. Like they leave with absolutely nothing in a very scared, traumatized state. And so it's just a little journal for them to like recount and just talk to themselves, like a self-reflection. There's a toothbrush and deodorant and toothpaste, like simple items that just make their journey just less burdensome, as she says. So we're very excited to share her episode with the world and recount her stories because it's very prevalent in this world. So the domestic abuse, the numbers speak
Hmm.
volumes, as she said. So that's, I would, if anybody has anything to donate, I would definitely reach out to her and help her out as well on her mission. So those are the two that I would plug in.
Oh, nice. Nice. I do a thing on here and I don't do it all the time, but you strike me as somebody's got a good sense of humor. So um, I would be willing to make a donation to either one of those charities.
Okay.
If okay, I'm involved with a charity that involves suicide and depression.
Okay.
And I've thrown that out to this challenge out to various guests I've had on the show, and I've had a lot of takers on it. And after we lost Robin Williams, unfortunately, um, after the Ice Bucket Challenge took off and did so well, one came out after Robin Williams called the Doubtfire Face Challenge for suicide and depression awareness, and it involves you taking a pie in the face and you nominate three people. And I do this thing where I make a donation to the charity of your choice. If you'll do a video, you take a pie in the face, and if you want to throw it nominations out to three people in the industry, that would be great.
That's interesting. Well,
Hmm.
I do love a good image. I think pictures speak louder than words. So let me talk to my producing partner because I'd love to not just do like a simple video. And I also am an image consultant and I do branding. I think it'd be interesting to do like a high fashion video of it and like the after with the face with the pie, but also dressed glamorously because I think an image speaks volumes and gets attention. And I think that's what it's all about when it comes to charity work is getting attention, people's attention, and getting the message out there. So yeah, I'll take you
Le-
up on that challenge. Yes, sir. Let's do
Lisa
it.
Lisa did one. Some
Yeah.
people have gotten really creative. I'm wearing the John Carpenter's Halloween shirt. I had Sandy Johnson on here, who was Judith Myers, his opening scene victim. And she not only accepted the challenge, her charity was Tunnels for Towers for first responders for the
Yeah.
9/11.
Yeah.
So I donated to that. She not only took a pie in the face, but her husband was dressed up as Michael Myers, and he put the pie in her face.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
That was funny. Nancy McLaughlin, who's a good friend of mine from Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives, had props from the movie behind her, and she did it. And let me see. I've had a variety of people do it, and it's something I throw out there, and I donate to the charity of their choice in return. So
Okay.
send me the link to the charity you want me to donate to, and I will do that.
Yeah.
And yeah, you come
And
up
then
with
you
something.
send me the details of yours. Yeah.
Actually, I might even just send you a few of the videos. They'll pretty much give you the idea.
Okay. Sounds good.
Oh
And
yeah,
it could be any pie. Can you pick your favorite flavor? Or it
just as
has to
long
be
as
like
it's
American apple pie. Or could it be
well,
like frosted
American apple
frosting?
pie is not exactly going to stick, but you get my point. Yeah, something a cream pie that's going to stick. But whatever it is you want.
Sounds good. You got it. You got it.
Yeah. So I thought I'd throw that out there to you, and see if you're up for it, and I'll donate to the charity of your choice. But yeah, I've had some take. I got a playlist of them on YouTube too. So but I've had some creative ones that did it. Actually, I'm involved in a movie called The Witches of the Sand, with directed by Tony Martin, and Deborah Lamb's involved with it. And Deborah Lamb not only took me up on it, she did it at the end of the interview. And her husband walks in and asked her if she did it already, and there she's covered.
Wow.
I'm like, yeah, he's sleeping on the couch tonight.
That's so,
But yeah, so I've had a lot of takers on it, so I thought I'd throw that out to you to see if that would
thank
spark
you.
your
Yeah.
interest.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
got it.
absolutely. Well, just send me the link to your charity and
Will do. Yeah. Thank you.
absolutely. Anything else you want to plug and promote on here?
No, I think this was a wonderful, wonderful time. Thank you for all the wonderful questions and taking the time to interview me. Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
You know what? I'm glad that to have you on here today. I was actually surprised to find out you're in Toronto and we're both in well, that was my first time in the US, but I was happy to meet you there and learn
Same.
about your podcast and yeah, when I'm in Toronto next, if you want to meet up for coffee or something, I'm open for that.
I'd love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Going back to what you were saying, the movie that you're working on, what's your part in it? What are you doing?
Oh, I just donated to the Indiegogo. My picture's gonna be in it. I've been part of a few movies. 13 Fanboy, I get a producer credit on that. My picture is in it, splattered in blood. James Balsamo has me cameo in 9 of his movies. I just had to shoot my stuff right here in my apartment and send it to him. He spliced it in, and It Wants Blood, I'm being watched on a television by Eric Roberts. So I can't wait to meet him someday and ask him what it was like to work with me.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I've never met James, but he's been on here 5 times, and I've been in 9 of his movies. And but I've met him through Genevieve Rossi, and she was a chiller. So I got to meet her there. She was who connected me with. Actually, she was in a lot of James's movies, so that was how I come to know James. So and Tony Martin is from the UK, and he's doing a big picture called The Witches in the Sand. I don't know a whole lot about it, but he does get attacked by a sandwich with teeth in it. So
Oh, that's an interesting visual.
yeah, I've seen the images. So yeah, but I've got my name on a few of them, but due to finances, I can't donate a whole lot of money to these projects anymore. Um, I do the charity stuff and I pay my bills and try to save up and go to the cons. So I'm right now I'm looking forward to Frightmare in the Falls. But if you want me to, I'll put your name out to James Ponce and Chris Alexander and
Sure, I'd love
Louis
that. I mean,
Simmons.
it's just down the street from me. And I love Niagara Falls. It's a cool place. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, maybe I'd see you
absolutely.
there or in
Well, you
Toronto
know
for
what? We
coffee.
absolutely. I'd love to meet you for a coffee, so we can do that. Anyway, it was wonderful having you come on here today, talking about Dawn of the Dead and uh and being a pregnant zombie bride.
I'm grateful for the time that you took to interview me. Thank you. Thank you,
What does
Gil.
your family think of that?
Well, my kids haven't watched the movie yet. I don't think they're old enough and can process it. Although my daughter does love horror movies, and my son says he does. But he's a very sensitive kid. I don't, yeah. Yeah, he keeps on asking me to show him horror movies. He wants to watch Stranger Things, but I think it's just because um people he looks up to that are a bit older and he thinks they're cool are watching it, so he wants to be like them. But yeah, so I have not heard their thoughts yet. I mean, they think it's cool that I'm in it. My son was obsessed with Transformers. Like when he was 5, 6, yeah. So, but I don't think he understood the concept of mommy was in a Transformers movie at the time. And I still don't think he understands that. So, oh, his dad is an actor too. So there was a point where it dropped, like he's watching, his dad was in a popular TV series, kids TV series called I'm in the Band, slapstick comedy, so funny. And so we've been showing them a couple of episodes here and there. And that's when the penny dropped. He's looking at the screen and his dad acting in the show, and then his dad sitting on the couch, his dad on the screen. So it's a really funny experience watching your kids realize that, oh, that's your job. You play pretend, and that's not really who you are. Like you're my dad. So yeah, that's been interesting.
If you're going to introduce your kids to horror, I would start them out small, like maybe something like Ghostbusters or Gremlins or something
Yes,
like
they've
that.
watched that. They love Ghostbusters. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I wouldn't go starting them off with anything too gory or anything like that right away. How old are
Yeah.
you kids?
8 and 12.
Yeah, I would think I was about 12 when I first saw my first slasher film. And my mom ran in and turned the television off the moment there was a naked woman on the screen. That was what did it, not the three or four killings.
That's so funny to say. I had a similar experience. My grandmother was watching me and my brother, and she put on Predator without
Mhm.
realizing what it was all about. And that traumatized me when they get sucked up from that was Predator, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, she turned it off right away. I was like, I couldn't sleep for a couple of nights there.
For me, it was Friday the 13th, part two, and which I watched like this. Now I've
Yep.
got it on Blu-ray here and interviewed a bunch of the cast, but Kirsten Baker was the first woman I've seen naked, and it was through that movie. Had that was pre-sex egg glass for me. So it's like, yeah, I learned something from that movie that I never forgot.
Yeah.
Yep. So one of the actors has told me, so if you ever meet Kirsten Baker, you got to tell her that story.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, and here I am 52 and well, gonna be 52 and I've seen all kinds of weird stuff since, so
Yeah.
nothing surprises me anymore. But anyway, it was wonderful having you come on here today, and I'll send this to you, and you can do whatever edits you want. And yeah, before I let you go, I would
Mhm.
love a plug for my show.
A plug for your show.
Yeah,
So, what would you like me to say?
just state your name and say you're listening to Greg Gilbert on Python's Paradise.
So say my name. You're listening to Greg Gilbert on
Paradise.
Python Paradise. Oh my God, this kind of stuff like throws me off. Okay, this is Ina Korobkina, and you're watching Python Paradise. Ah, I messed up. I'm sorry. Say again. Say again.
Yeah.
We'll have to edit this
y-
out.
oh,
I'm making a fool of myself.
oh, I always keep the mistakes in. Because it took some people like 5 tries. It's
Oh, good. I'm
amusing
not
to
the
me.
only one. I'm like,
Oh
see, you should
yeah.
have emailed me this before. I could have
Uh,
practiced like a good
I
actress.
had I
I would
had
have learned
Roddy
my lines.
I had Roddy Piper's daughter on here, and she took like her brother was on with her. I did a tribute to Roddy Piper. Her brother got it right away. She kept screwing it up, and I kept it in because I just found it so
Oh
funny.
my God.
Oh yeah, you know. No, just state your name and say you're listening to Greg Gilbert on Python's Paradise. And here you are writing it down so you
Yeah, yeah.
can.
I'm very visual. Like I have to see, like, yeah, that's how I operate.
Oh,
Uh,
there you are.
you are listening to, so this is going to be on YouTube
Listening or
and
watching
or
the now
watching.
with Zoom. Yeah, I'll put both out.
So I can do one you're watching and you're listening to.
Sure.
Um, on Python Paradise.
Python's Paradise. I'm DJ
Python's
Python.
Paradise. So this is Ina Korobkina, and you're watching Greg Gilbert on Python Paradise.
That's right.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. You're watching Greg Gilbert.
Yeah.
Greg Gilbert. Okay. This is Ina Korobkina, and you're watching Greg Gilbert on Python's Paradise. This is,
Absolutely.
and I'm gonna do what I just did watching, right? Listening.
Mhm.
This is Ina Korobkina, and you're watching Greg Gilbert on Python's Paradise. Hold on. I need to do listening. I did watching. You're listening. This is Ina Korobkina, and you're listening to Greg Gilbert on Python's Paradise.
Absolutely. Now
Not too bad.
you
Couple
could
of
do
tries.
you could do whatever edit you want, but I'm keeping that all in. You look great, by the way. You look stunning.
Thank you. Oh, you're
There you
so
go.
thank
There you
you.
go. And I'm so jealous you live in Toronto, you know? I don't know where you stand on politics, and I won't get into it, but I do know the person in power currently needs to go.
Yeah, I try not to talk about politics as
I
well.
try not to too, but ever since I tried to move to Toronto to take that job and couldn't do it, stuff has been appearing in my feed about the debates, and I'm like, now I'm kind of seeing what's been going on, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm not the only one that feels screwed, you know? I'm
Well,
luck
you have to be careful about that, and we talk about that on our podcast as well. Whatever you put your attention on expands. This is what Juan Gray from the Purpose Game talks about on the very first episode that airs June
Mhm.
14th of the Rise Up and Fix It podcast. You I honestly believe in universe and energy and what we attract into our life. So you're attracting these videos and they're making you feel something and they're making you doubt. So you have this dream to come to Toronto and it's a beautiful dream. And I wouldn't let any kind of negative videos stop you from achieving that dream. So it's just like watch whatever thoughts come up and go, are these videos serving me? Are these videos serving my purpose and my mission and my goal and what's going to bring me joy? And if they're not, don't watch the videos, is my advice. Don't let, because
Uh,
yeah, it's all about what we consume, what food we consume, what thoughts, what people, energy around us, and what videos is we're consuming content and that has an effect on us. So yeah, that would be my my piece of advice. Be careful with what you allow into your consciousness.
well, I'm very thankful I got a job, and my cat will not help pay rent. He will go out and get a job.
What kind of cat do you have, by the way?
You know what? I'm gonna get him. I know you want to
Please
see
do.
him.
I love cats. They're the cutest.
Hi, Skittles.
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 Oh.
Skittles, guess what? You're being summoned. He says, you're exploiting me. You're exploiting me for hits and likes and views.
Oh, so sweet. Bring him closer. He's getting lost in. Yeah. Hello, sweetie. Oh, he's got the Zorro mask.
Skittles is like, I'm related to the King of Beast. And when I went to the Toronto Zoo, I found that to be very true because they were laying down on their sides being lazy too.
Oh.
I saw, oh yeah, I see Skittles and the lion. Yes.
He's a sweetie. He's like, let me go.
Oh yeah,
Oh
he's
no,
a
he's enjoying
bear.
the little, yeah, the little rub.
He's so embarrassed. He's like, oh my, you're exploiting me for hits. I'm like,
Oh,
you're living here for free. He's my buddy. You got any pets?
I do not anymore. Our little Chihuahua Jack Russell passed away last spring. We had him for
Oh,
17 years, and yeah, he was an old man. He was very, very fragile. So,
my brother and his wife had ferrets. He had two ferrets,
oh,
and
interesting.
I watched them drag my sister-in-law's hair dryer down the hall and under the bed. I got
Cute.
them I got them toys one time. I never saw them the day any time afterwards. But I bet you if I looked under their bed, that's where they were,
They
because
would
that's where
be.
they took everything.
That's so cute. Well, I'm glad they had each other's company and they were working as a team.
We were working as a team, all right. Yeah. But yeah, Skittles over here rubbing against my hand.
Well, it was
Skittles.
really lovely to meet Skittles. Thank you for introducing me, and thank you again for this interview. I look forward to sharing parts of it on my Instagram and on my social media.
You
And
go for it. Yes, absolutely.
yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, do keep in touch, and I look forward to seeing you when you're in Toronto or at one of these conventions again very soon.
I hope so. I look forward to it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
All right. God bless you. You have yourself a wonderful day in that city I love so much.
Thank you. You have a wonderful day as well. We'll see you later.
You take care.
Bye.
Bye bye.